Hello there, and in today's video we're going to be giving you some useful hints and tips on keeping your fleece liners and fleece accessories clean and staying fresh for as long as possible. We're going to show you what we do, and then hopefully you'll be able to decide whether these are the tips that you can use for yourself. So in regards to actually washing your fleece, you've got three options. The first is hand washing it, which involves like hosing it down until you've got all the pee out, and then using like a bucket or a big tub to really wash it with some detergent, and then really scrub it to get all the stuff off, and then make sure it's clean, and then rinsing it out again with a hose pipe, and then putting it on a washing line to let it dry. The second option you've got if you don't fancy doing that is your home washing machine, and we'll go through the tips and tricks that we use for our own one. And then your third option is if you can find if you've got like a laundrette or a laundromat nearby, you can use them. Typically they will have bigger, more industrial strength washing machines, so you can usually do bigger loads, which is ideal when you've got quite a lot of guinea pigs, or you've got a big cage and you've got big liners and things like that. Well, first and foremost, what I would make sure that you do is before you even consider washing it, make sure that everything is brushed down. Get a good quality brush and uh, brush off any debris, any bits of poo, any stray um, hair, make sure that there's no food stuck on. Get as much of that off as possible. I mean, obviously, there's going to be like bits of hair and things that you can't get off, but like just make sure anything loose is off, because you don't want that going in the washing machine, because that's like just more than to break down and mix with the water. You want as little as that as possible. Right, well, the first option that I spoke about was hand washing. Now, this is not something that we've ever done because it's not something that we've got time for, but I imagine what you want to do is you want to rinse out all the urine until it washes clear, and then you'd use like some kind of detergent or soap, and then lather that up in a big bowl, a big bucket, something like that. And then you'd tip it out, and then just keep doing that until it's completely clean and smell free, and then you'd hang it up to dry. Like I said, we've never done that before, so I can't give you any solid 100% advice on that. But if anyone has done that, let us know down in the comments and let us know how you got on with it. Right, now we'll go into the washing machine section. The first thing I would recommend is that you invest in what I believe is called a horse bag, but maybe called pet bags. I'm not 100% sure because they are becoming more common now. And what this is, it's a bag that you put all your washing into, and then you put that in the washing machine, and that cuts down the debris that'll get stuck in the filter in the washing machine. So it should capture that, and then you can just chuck that out as you've finished cleaning. Right, so another thing with the home washing machines now is the temperatures. I recommend doing it on a warm wash, which is 60 degrees Celsius. We've found if you do it lower than that, it can still hold some of the smell, whereas if you go 60 or higher, it tends to be better for getting rid of the odours and getting rid of most of the stainage. I wouldn't recommend going higher, simply because the hotter the temperature you go, the more risk you have of shrinkage on your items. So you want to keep it at that nice medium where you're getting rid of the bacteria and the smells, and you're not going too high, so you're risking shrinkage on your items. Next, we'll talk about the detergents. Now, I highly recommend a non-bio detergent. Any should be fine, so long as it's fragrance free. Because if it's got a fragrance on it, it could leave like a coating inside the fleece that could then lead to a skin irritation on your guinea pig. So it's best to just avoid that if at all possible. And also on the subject of that, no fabric softener at all, because the fabric softener puts on like a protective layer, and while it does feel nice and soft and much softer to touch, the problem is that protective layer almost has like a waterproof coating, and it prevents the material from wicking so that it can't absorb the moisture. So when the pee, you might end up with puddles on your fleece items. Right, now just a little bit extra note on the chemical side of things. Do not be tempted to add any kind of bleach or any biological soap powders, detergents, because that can ruin the fleece. Now, if you are concerned about the smell, what I recommend is just adding some white vinegar to the mix, because that will get into the fabrics and it will eliminate those odors, and then it will wash out, and it's completely safe and natural for the pets, and it won't do any damage to the fleece at all. So now onto the cycle. What I would recommend is if your washing machine has a water boost feature, which means that it will put a lot more water in there, I highly recommend that you add that, because you want as much water flowing in and out of your items to get as much of the urine out as possible. If not, I would start by giving your items a cold rinse. Just let the water run through it with as much water going through it as possible, just to get all that urine out of there. And then do the cycle where you add the detergent on the hot wash. And then once that's done, give it a fast spin to get all the stuff out, and then that's ready to go on the washing line to get it dried. So if you are using your own personal washing machine and you are using it often and you don't have like a dedicated guinea pig one, you may notice that there may be a little bit of a guinea pet smell in it after you've used it. So I would recommend cleaning the washing machine after. There's a few things that you can do. One of the things that we would do is we put a small amount of bleach in there with some antibac and some vinegar spray in, and then just put it on the hottest setting you can, and that'll clear out any of the smell and get rid of any of the pet things in there. Another thing that you can do as well on a separate wash, and I recommend doing this with a washing machine anyway, is just getting a couple of those dishwasher pods, putting those in and then putting that on a hot wash, because that'll actually break down the lime scale that can build up on the drum anyway, and that's a good thing to keep your washing machine healthy for longer. Also, most washing machines have a small trap somewhere near the bottom. I would recommend checking that every 3 or 4 months, just to make sure that that's not getting clogged up, because we did notice it got quite a lot of guinea pig hair and things like that in there, a few pieces of hay when we used to do it with ours. So it's just worth checking that just to make sure that your washing machine doesn't break down, and then you can make sure it's all running healthy. And now the third and final option, this is the one that we prefer and we've been doing for quite a while now. This is a laundromat with a big industrial washing machine. Now, we've found the advantage of this is the sheer amount of washing it can do in one go for the price. Now, when we was using his own personal washing machine, it was taking between 3 and 5 loads to get all the guinea pigs washing done that we have just from changing it out once a week. But when we go to the laundromat that's nearby, we can get everything in one load. So it's just one load done and dusted. Plus, these big industrial washing machines, they put a lot of water in and they do give it one heck of a wash for you. I've found that I've not even needed to have vinegar spray in there as well, because it does seem to really wash out all the smells that's in there. We've never had any problem with any smelly washing left over when we've used the big laundromat. Now it costs £11 to use the big drum, and that might sound expensive, but when you think about it, that's 5 loads of washing for £11. So that's saving maintenance, wear and tear on our washing machine. I'm not having to clean that out either. Everything's all done, and then you've actually got to consider the cost of the electric and the water and everything else that goes into those 5 loads. But that's just £11. We are in the UK going through a cost of living crisis at the moment, where energy bills and everything else are currently sky high. So I think £11 for that big wash is not a bad price at all. So for those not familiar that's never used one of these before, it's just like using a regular washing machine. You just open the door and then you load your washing in and then you lock it. And then what you do then is you go over to the touch screen that's on there. You select the washing machine that you're using. The one that I use includes detergent, so you don't even need to worry about that. It asks you if you want fabric softener, which you don't. So you go through all that, you pay, and then you go back onto your washing machine, you select the temperature that you want, and then you just hit the start button, and then it just runs, and it takes roughly about an hour. So you can either have it so it can text you if you want to go away and do something else, or you can just sit there and wait, which is what I usually do. You just bring yourself some entertainment, like I'll just usually sit and watch some YouTube videos while I'm waiting for the washing machine to go. Ours as well has got a little garage there, so if I needed to get a drink or anything like that, I could just go in there and grab myself a bottle of pop or a coffee or whatever. So I'll just show you a few clips now of me using the washing machine so you get an idea of what it's like. Right, you've got two options now for drying your washing. You've got the tumble dryer, or you have got pegging it out. Now, with the tumble dryer, this is our least preferred option, but if it's raining and you've got like, or it's winter and you can't really get any time to peg it outside, it is advisable to at least get it in a tumble dryer. But with that, you need to make sure it's on a low, delicate setting to reduce the risk of shrinkage. This is why we don't recommend using a tumble dryer at all. Now, the second option, our preferred option, is air drying it out on a washing line outside. It's free, doesn't cost any electric. It just takes time for the weather to, on a nice day, for the heat and the wind just to breeze through and blow it all dry for you. One thing that we did notice after usage, more so now that we've got a larger herd, is that sometimes there's a lot of hair left over on the products. It's mainly one pet that we've got, which is Mr. Whippy. He was an outdoor piggy for 2 years before we took him. So we believe him maybe because he's got an undercoat, but he loses so much hair. If you just look at him, he just goes poof, and hair just goes everywhere, and it gets embedded in the fleece items, and you'll see like in a moment when I'm going to show you that like even after washing and drying, there is still hair in there. Now we look for all sorts of different things to how to deal with that, and we found something called Fur Viking, and that has been a game changer in getting rid of the hair. So I'll just leave you a few clips of me showing you how to use that and how good it actually is. So this is the liner after it's been washed, and as you can see, it's still full of guinea pig hair. And you can try brushing it with your fingers, you could try using all sorts of different things. I've even tried running it with those little hair removers with the sticky pads, and most of the time it doesn't get it all off. But this is a Fur Viking, and this is one of the best tools for getting rid of the hair. So I'll just show you how easy it is just to get rid of the hair on this little section here. As you can see, that's coming up, and that section is already pretty clear. And that's just with a quick brush. And then look, it also gets rid of a lot of fluff as well with it. So if you've got any fluff on there, it looks better. And if you look at it now, you can see that section is already looking brighter as well. So I hope you found this video useful. This is our knowledge that we've developed over the last 8 years or so of owning guinea pigs. And if you did find it useful, give us a like because we'd really appreciate that. If you've got any tips that we haven't spoken about, please share them down in the comment section below because we really like to hear that. And for more videos like this, please consider subscribing because we'd like to get out as much of this content as we can, and there'll be plenty for you to watch. So I've been John from Toffee Apple Studios, and I will see you on the next video.